The sun rose this morning over the Wolverhampton racecourse on what could be the first day of what could be the last CSGO tournament for EPIC39. We have 22 teams fighting for their share of a £3,000 prize pool. I'm here with Tim. We're going to break down a few of the games for you today and go through some of the storylines. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for some more Counter-Strike, I'll be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's going to be
Looking
good.
forward to it. Awesome. So today we have 5 best of ones and then 1 best of 3, which is the lower consolidation first round. And we've got some highlights for the teams. We've got 3 really strong teams coming into this tournament. 7 AM, Verdant, and Next in Line. A couple of them have stand-ins, but for the most part, it's their full rosters. And then we've got 2 really dangerous mixes as well. Al-Fatiak, 3 players from Raptors, along with previous Summerland winner Jack B.
Yeah.
And then we've also got the Neighbours, Smooya, Extinct, Beve, Adam 9130, and Dobbo. It's dangerous, Tim.
Yeah, considering it's a Summerland, it's relatively stacked with the fact that we've got 3 advanced teams, as you mentioned, and 2 incredibly strong mixes of advanced and experienced players.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, 7 AM, hot off being re-promoted to advanced.
Yeah.
And Verdant, they've got some fresh signings.
Yeah, some fresh signings. They're a brand new roster, for the most part.
Yep.
But they've got 3 returning players who have played together before in the form of Fraser, Jostair, and Dexter, who have got a lot of experience together. But with the new additions, they're hoping to have a much more put together lineup.
Yeah. Next in line, after a huge ESEA Open run, those guys went to playoffs, won playoffs, and went all of the way to advanced, straight from Open, and on a fresh roster as well, which is, I think, a monumental result.
Yeah, it's a very big, impressive feat for them, especially being a brand new roster.
Yep.
The fact they clicked and, well, they went undefeated pretty much. I think they only lost 1 game in regulation of Open.
Yeah.
Which I think was on Vertigo, but again, it was against a tough team who also went really deep into the playoffs. So coming into it, they faced very little opposition. So make of that what you will.
Yeah. Al-Fatiak, as we said, 3 players from Raptors, which is another really strong UK team.
Yes.
And then they're rounding the roster out with Jack B and Kreitz.
Yeah, 2 absolute legends of mixing EPIC39. They won the last Summerland playing with Emps Kids, albeit they did have Cypher, who is, as a lot of people will know, a legendary player now after playing at the major, making deep run into the major, but got to playoffs, which is huge, and is rumoured to be signing with TSM. That's just a rumour, so who knows. But yeah, the point still stands. Kreitz and Jack B, they will always show up, and no matter what mix they're playing in, there will always be a danger, whoever they're playing against.
Yeah, and then the Neighbours, Smooya, Extinct, currently on Viperio, Beve, previously on Viperio, Adam 9130, and Dobbo. That is a stacked mix.
Yeah, very stacked. The Neighbours won EPIC39 a couple EPIC39s ago. I think it was EPIC37, with the core of Smooya, Bev, and Extinct. Now they've brought in Adam and Dobbo, so they've got even more firepower than they had last time. So they're going to be really scary, as well as the fact that Bev, Adam, and Dobbo played together recently in Into the Wind, so they've got a bit of experience and chemistry together as well, on 2 separate parts of that team.
Yeah, and we have some very, very respectable teams further down on the list as well, but I think those are the 5 standouts, and of course they're playing for a share of a £3,000 prize pool, sponsored by Intel here at EPIC39. Thank them for that. At the Wolverhampton racecourse, after our beloved Kettering Conference Centre bit the dust, forever in our hearts.
Forever in our hearts, R.I.P.
But this is a great venue, I got to say.
It is actually really surprisingly good. The views are great. The layout I think is actually a better layout than the Summerlands at Kettering.
Yeah, Epic team have done a great job finding a new place. Look, so we'll go into our first game, of course. The Neighbours, that massive stack that we've just talked about, are taking on a beloved
international giants,
beloved
Binmen International.
Yeah, Binmen
absolute crucibles of firepower on both sides of the server. We've got Smooya, an absolute legend of the game. He's made major playoffs, played with Big. He got to the playoffs of the Face It Major, home ground in London, doing the UK proud. And the On the other side of the server, we've got Dweg.
I mean, it goes without saying, the guy needs no introduction.
Barbecue King.
Barbecue King. If you're familiar with the UK scene, you know Dweg, and you should know his reputation. Dweg, obviously, his main gig, he's a caster, but then he gets on the server and grills it up.
Yeah, grilling it up, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think he just goes easy on the players normally. Not even his final form, you could say.
Yeah, I was chatting with him. He's got full confidence. I tried to eke some bit of fighting talk out of him. He's like, no, I'm just going to let the results on the server speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a test to open up round 1 of the groups. It's a 5-round group stage. So every team in each group plays each other. And then there'll be a best of 3 later on in the day, as we mentioned.
Good talking point. Apparently, more of the Neighbours are in the server right now than Binmen International. So are they more ready?
Are the Binmen scared?
Are the Binmen scared? Or they're off busy preparing together, working in a team huddle?
Well, I was walking around the venue earlier, and I did run into the Binmen International.
Mm-hmm.
And they were having a team talk.
Yeah.
Dweg, very vocal. He was laying down the law. He was saying, guys, utility. We need utility. We need to make sure we've got diffuse kits. So it's high level strategizing.
Oh yeah.
And it's what you'd expect from Dweg. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, he's been, from what I've heard, he's been prepping for this event, watching so many demos, specifically of the Neighbours as well. So not only just is he going to counter them, he's going to replicate their play style. I think we've got a like-for-like lineup for Binmen International. They've got Nazari, Index, Pej, Whiskey. They're, well, what can I say, player for player. I think they're a match for the Neighbours.
Yeah, and after chatting with Dweg, we also got a bit of insight into their map pool. They don't like Vertigo, Overpass, or Mirage.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Dweg in Twitch chat should be an easy win. So the fighting talk's coming out right before the game, instead of, joining the server so that we can cast him.
I don't know why Dweg's telling us that. He should be telling that to the Neighbours.
I agree. Unfortunately, and probably fortunately for the players, we don't get the chat on the broadcast.
Yeah, that'll be.
And I'd quite like to see how Dweg plays the psychological games against.
Maybe he's already playing the psychological games against us by telling us he's going to ban Overpass, Vertigo, and Mirage. Because if he doesn't, he's a filthy liar.
He is. Because he caveated that by saying, if we come up against somebody like the Neighbours, we might throw one in as a curveball.
Yeah, and the one he mentioned was Mirage. That Mirage is not going to be a curveball for the likes of the Neighbours. I'm sorry, but all fun and games. The Neighbours.
Yeah, Mirage, the Puggers' playground, against a mix with the firepower that the Neighbours have.
Yeah,
it would be suicide going into a Mirage game, I think.
Even if Dweg drops 50, which is what I'm expecting.
Yep.
I don't think they'll be able to take it versus the Neighbours.
I would love to be optimistic, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to agree with you. I think the Neighbours have this. It's going to be quite brutal, I think, on the server.
For once, Dweg will be the one getting grilled on the Barbie.
Yeah.
Instead of the barbecuer.
Turning the tides.
Yeah. Especially since the sun's not out, I'm afraid. It was sunny yesterday. Dweg could have been soaking in those rays, getting that photosynthesis.
Yeah.
But no, not today. He's lost his superpower.
It's very overcast, and for Dweg, temperature, sunshine, big factor.
He needs that.
Yeah. So we'll go into a bit more about the Neighbours, I suppose. Beve, Adam, and Dobbo played together on Into the Win, so they'll be familiar with the way each other play. And to be fair, this lot, I imagine, play with each other quite a lot, being with the sort of upper end of the UK scene.
Yeah, 100%. I know that Smooya, Bev, and Extinct pug together a lot.
Yeah.
I've previously played in teams with Bev and Extinct, so I know what they're like as players, and they're going to give no respect, especially Extinct. We saw it at EPIC39, just holds W. He will not let go, and he will just rush everyone down, and his aim is incredibly crisp.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, Bev's going to be dropping Smooya Orps every round, so you've got Smooya a maximum firepower potential.
Yeah, and that's dangerous. It's looking at the teams for this event. I very much like to see actual teams that practice, teams that compete as a team win. I think they come out with some good Counter-Strike. But the way that you counter that, if you don't have that, is with just raw firepower.
Yeah.
And the Neighbours, it's so stacked. I think I think pretty much everyone I've spoken to, bar the people competing, obviously, low-key think or high-key think the Neighbours are going to absolutely take this one with no problem whatsoever.
This game or this event?
The event.
Yeah.
I'm talking on the macro here, on the event. Yeah, it's such a stacked lineup, so much firepower. I mean,
yeah. In terms of this team, the Neighbours, they play for player. They've got firepower better than every single team coming into this event. The one thing which goes against them is the whole David versus Goliath. They could come into it too confident, too complacent. The attitude, as soon as they start losing, could go downhill, as we know that they are temperamental players.
Yeah.
Especially speaking in my experience, that playing with a couple of them, the mood is quite volatile for them.
Mm-hmm.
If something's going wrong, they can be quiet, and I know that some of the other players on the team can sometimes be catalysts for that and make it a lot worse. So as soon as they start losing, they could find themselves in a bit of trouble, and that's the only scenario that I can see them not taking the trophy this event.
Well, we have the vetoes in. Dweg has reached into his mind and pulled the veto out, so we'll have a look here. Binmen, ban Mirage, we expected it.
Yep.
Dweg sticking to his word so far. The Neighbours gone for an Inferno ban. I think that's fairly standard. Binmen have banned Overpass. Another of the maps they said they wouldn't play. It's looking good for Dweg's integrity so far. The Neighbours have banned Vertigo, and they've done it for Dweg, which means Binmen have banned Nuke. The Neighbours have banned Ancient, and we're getting an Anubis, the newest map in the pool, to start us off.
That's going to be exciting. But yeah, a lot of those bans make sense, especially for the Neighbours. They're getting rid of most of these puggy upset maps, which have a lot more chaotic potential, which they want to avoid. They want to play the maps where their fundamentals, their experience at this higher level, they can use that against the other teams, and consequently they're less likely to get upset. The fight's going to be less messy for them, so they're just going to be able to take clean fights and just shoot the headshots, which we know they're capable of, especially against these lesser teams. But having said that, Anubis being the newest map, it's still sort of settling the meta on that map. It's sort of, still a bit messy. We saw, and when it initially came out, it was the most T-sided map in the pool. It's balancing out slowly to become a bit more 50-50. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that reflects coming into this, incredibly one-sided game.
Yeah, as much as we're joking around, this should be a fairly one-sided affair. I can't see. I mean, it would be an upset for the UKCS history books, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Like the Binmen, bless them, and they're playing for a good cause as well. But the Neighbours should absolutely eat them up here.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the Neighbours maybe have some fun with this game. So. Back in EPIC39, back in my old career, when I was playing for Coalesce, we played against the Binmen, Dweg's team.
Yep.
And we had a bet between us. Whoever got the most knife kills wins. I think we knifed Dweg like 30 times or something, Zeused him 50. It was absurd. And Extinct was on that lineup when I was playing with him in Coalesce. So who knows? They could have the same deal here.
Could run it back. Yeah.
Could run it back. Yeah. See how many times they can Zeus Dweg. See if they can shock him a bit.
Yeah. And shock him back into form, perhaps. Yeah. I mean, to run through the players on the lineup for Binmen, because I feel like we have been talking about the Neighbours, what with being a really heavy favourite coming into this tournament. Dweg, Nazari, Index, not me, Pedge, and Whiskey. And so that's their lineup that they put together. Binmen are fielding 3 rosters at EPIC39.
The Binmen conglomerate.
Yeah.
3 whole rosters. A little bit of conflict of interest, would you say, if they face each other? Or do you think they're going to be? Or do you think their egos are going to be so big that they're going to want to be? They're
true professionals.
The best Binmen team.
I think that's going to be a key. Yeah. To have the bragging rights of being the best Binmen team. I think will trump anything else. And yeah, they've got Binmen International, bin drinking, and bin chilling. So, full force from the Binmen, and they've had their social media machine in full whack as well.
Yeah.
I saw late last night, saw a couple of players on the DM. I can't remember who it was. One of them was on Photoshop making memes.
Yeah. So they're committed to the content side of things, but I think they're going to need to field a few more teams if they want a chance of making any playoff runs.
Yeah, just brute force.
Yeah, brute force it. The more teams they have, the greater their odds of getting into playoffs.
So, I believe that only 5 or 6 teams actually get grouped with the format.
Yeah.
And there are 2 Binmen rosters in the same group, which means they will be playing each other at some point today.
Also guarantees that one of them makes playoffs.
Which guarantees that at least one Binmen is getting out of groups. But I think that's enough of that. We're getting ready to get into the game and kick this one off. A real barn burner to kick off EPIC39 here at the Wolverhampton racecourse. The Neighbours and Binmen International, they're going to be slugging it out. It's a clash of the titans. Dweg on the server, Smooyer on the server, 2 names that, of course, you'd put right up, back next to each other. I mean, can you say more?
No, I don't think you can say more. What we can do is we can watch more, as I believe the game is coming right up. It's going to be so exciting. I can't wait.
I'm excited. Yeah, Counter-Strike, we're back at LAN after... It looks so... I was so worried. The KCC announced that it was closing. Summer LAN was around the corner.
I mean, I heard a rumour that it was closing so they could reopen it for a CS2 major. What do you think of that?
I think if there was any venue
for a CS2 major, it would be Kettering.
Yeah. Remodel, bit of refurbishment, maybe get rid of those tennis courts and just turn it into an esports hub for Counter-Strike.
I think they should keep the duck pond though. The lake.
Yes. No. The duck pond it adds character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a crucial.
It's part. I mean, it's part of the DNA of Kettering.
Yeah, that duck pond. It's really famous. Everyone knows it. Some people have even been swimming on it.
So we've heard. Wolverhampton racecourse, though, pretty good substitute.
Yeah,
it's a shame. It's a real shame that you guys can't see this. We've got a great view at the casting den.
Just to our right is a balcony which looks over the whole racecourse itself. It's a beautiful view, especially yesterday when it was all sunny. We got the sun shining and we got a whole sunset view. It was quite picturesque as we sat there on the balcony eating our pizza.
Yeah, eating our pizza and comparing notes.
Yeah, and interviewing players. Yeah, just a quick reminder, we've got a bit of sidecar content. Me and Tim walking around yesterday, and we've interviewed a few players, and we'll be splashing that in over the course of the weekend to keep you guys interested. There's some really nice, interesting stuff actually that I've got out of a lot of those players. A lot of the players, to their credit, very, very frank about their expectations. Very frank about exactly what they're expecting, and also just they're not afraid to say, yeah, we're actually feeling quite confident. The thing that I find interesting is in the 3 advanced teams that we have, 7am next in line and Verdun, all 3 of them seem confident that they're better than the others.
Yes.
In terms of those 3. So I really am looking forward to seeing those 3 teams fight it out, especially because a lot of them are two of them are essentially brand new and they've never played each other before, these 3 different lineups. So all 3 of them have just about made advance recently. 7am getting in from main, next in line coming in from open, and then Verdun, they're a new roster who saved their advanced spot previous season and created a new roster to fill that spot. So we've not seen them play head to head. It's going to be interesting to see which team comes out on top as the better team amongst these 3.
Yeah, with them being so confident, I'm really looking forward to the later stages of this tournament. But like leading up to this event, a few weeks before, a couple of these teams hadn't signed up yet.
Yeah,
and so we were getting worried. But one thing we shouldn't be worried about is about this next game, the Neighbours Binmen International. We're going to be going into it very shortly. Again, as I said, barn burner. So much damage on the server.
Yeah. It's really going to be exciting to see how the Neighbours play together individually and how their roles fill out.
And we're here, pistol round. Let's have a look. I don't see any utility. It's 10 sets of Kevlar on the server. Both teams just want to scrap it out because it's a knife round, Tim.
Oh yeah, of course, because it's the best of one. We've got the knife round to decide sides. This could be quite pivotal.
A crucial knife round, and Binmen on the back foot. Yeah, the Neighbours starting off strong, and they're going to get this pick of sides now.
Yeah, this could change the game. As we mentioned before, Anubis, it's quite volatile. Some games still can be really one-sided, especially on the halves. We've casted a couple of games of it recently, and we've seen like 40-1 halves for them to just come back.
Yes, yeah, it's what with it being such a new map, and some people just aren't quite as familiar with the way the map plays in order to have these actual competent T halves, or competent CT halves. You know, it's very much a map that still slightly in flux. I think the meta's starting to settle. Definitely, it has been out for. We're acting like it's a brand new map, but it's been out for a few months now. So it's had
almost a year, to be honest.
Yeah, and with the Neighbours starting already winning a knife round, not even able to pick a side.
Yeah.
And now we have the pistol round. So we do have utility. Whiskey has got a Molotov.
And a single smoke on the way. Will be interesting to see where they use that. Looks like they are grouping up towards A, so we might see that smoke come out towards CT, and then the molly. Actually, no, they're splitting off here. 2 towards Canal, 3 towards A. So if they can slow it down a bit.
First engagement in middle. Nazari opening things up. Good start for the Binmen. Beve going down. Dobbo trade. Catches Nazari off guard, but isn't able to finish the kill, and that's where Extinct activates from his connector. Tapping away with the USP. Index has got a lot to deal with, but again, still not a trade for the Neighbours.
Yeah, no, this is a big opening pick. Bev going down.
Extinct peeking out, tapping away, finally able to land the kill.
But with that information, the rest of the Binmen International, they're collapsing onto this A bomb site, which is going to be clear. They're going to be able to get the bomb down, which is going to be really big for their economy. That bomb plan bonus means that they're going to be able to buy next round regardless, and have a buy to challenge the Neighbours.
Here in heaven, exchanging shots with Pedge, and in fact, Pedge going to come out on top. Man disadvantage for the Neighbours. Whiskey making it twofold. Stink going down, and Nazari as well. Smooth is the last one left in a 1 versus 4 here. Binmen with a really strong opening on this pistol, and he's just waiting for someone to overpeak at the minute because the Neighbours didn't go for a kit. If Smooth keeps his Kevlar alive, then he can rebuy head armor for just $350 in the next round.
But look at the bomb timer. It's ticking down. Even if he tries to escape now, he's going to take a little bit of chip damage to his armor when it explodes, I think, unless he can get further away, but I don't think he will. Yeah, there you go. He's taking enough damage, which means he's not going to be able to get that discount onto the helmet for the next round. But either way, he keeps his armor. So yeah, I expect to see a force buy coming out from the CTs. It's quite often you see them force buy the second round if they lose, so that they get the full best buy they can possibly get on the 4th round, so they sacrifice the 3rd in case they lose both first and second. As we look at the win coming into Binmen International, they've got 2 Galils, 3 Mac-10s actually.
Yeah, it's a very interesting buy. Suggests they want to end with something fast. They've got a good amount of utility, and the Neighbours actually have managed to pull out 2 SMGs, 2 MP9s, aggressive here outside B. Extinct opening onto Pedge. It's a good start for the Neighbours. Look how aggressive Adams being indexed, not ready for it at all. Nazari scrambling to try and trade. There's so much space gained. Beve spots the players in mid as well. Just falls back onto the A-bomb site. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. That's a nice flash. That allows Index to get some space, but he's not checking his corners. Beve's got 2. Dobbo comes in with 1 and cleans things out as well.
What a sick hold from Bev and Dobbo. Yeah, the Binmen International, they got a little bit flustered from that aggression coming up from Extinct and Adam. Those MP9s getting them nice and aggressive, using that running speed, quite frankly, to just chase them down. And it forces, funnels, almost herds the Binmen into that A side where they just get torn apart by the 5-7 Deagle of Bev and Dobbo.
And you can see now the economy, brilliant for the Neighbours. They've managed to save 2 of those Galils, which are basically 3 M4s. We've got Smuyu with an M4 of his own, and those MP9s retained as well. Binmen, in contrast, going for a boost in middle.
Force buy in contrast, but look at this boost coming out. Index taking down Bev. Again, the first opening pick going down for the Neighbours.
Binmen coming out swinging. Flash for Dweg. That utility. Oh, look at Adam's position.
Adam. How's he gotten here?
I don't know.
I think he's pushed A. He must have timed Whiskey.
He's got 2 positions to go now. Gets the first kill, drops the bomb. Pedge goes down as well. Adam, he's broken apart Binmen's default, and it's such a big issue. But Nazari with the deagle, nice shot. Smooth, you're able to trade back those. There's still a man advantage, and Dobbo takes the initiative with Extinct chiming in as well. 3 players survive for the Neighbours.
And this is one of the things we're seeing. In the previous lineup of the Neighbours who won Epic Clan, they didn't have Adam, they didn't have Dobbo. So this means they've got a much more rounder firepower base, and you can see the impact he has. Yeah. He's so smart at finding these timings and finding this aggression because he's done it time and time and time again. He's so experienced. For people who don't know, I think it was back in, must have been like 2017, he played with Vexed, and he's been at the top of the team ever since.
Oh, he's farming. Extinct.
Oh, Extinct.
He loves these ecos. And the A stolen.
Stolen. But that's a lot of money gained. That was an MP9. The only MP9 to know on the team. So again, for those newer players who aren't aware, the MP9, every kill gets and twice as much money as the rest of the guns. So you get $600 per kill. So Extinct, look at his bank. It's just as good as everyone else, even after buying up an M4. In the meantime, Smoothie, he's got an AWP. So we're going to see how this ex-pro, this incredibly high-level player, plays Anubis, this relatively new map with the AWP. Would be interesting to see what sort of opening pick he goes for.
First gun round. Rifles out for the Binmen. Beve's still on a saved Galil. But it's almost as good as an M4. Still be lethal in his hands. The Binmen, 5 rifles, good amount of utility. Dweg creeping his way up here to try and take some connector control. Being really diligent clearing all these angles. And he does get it for free. The Neighbours not wanting to hold on to it.
The Neighbours, they're playing quite passively here. They're letting Binmen International make the first move, it seems. Falling back to the B site, and on mid, again, they're not prodding too much, but I think Smooth, he's posted up deep in mid. That smoke coming out now is going to block his vision. We'll see how the Neighbours react to it, though. Yeah, it seems like a bit of counter-util. Yeah, a bit of pressure, but that pressure has just caused Smooth to rotate to the B site. He's got the perfect idea there. The Neighbours, they're now stacked 3 players to hold this site, which Binmen International, they themselves are setting up outside to execute on. The smokes come in, the volleys come in as well. Oh.
Extinct, lot to deal with, but deals with it perfectly. Adam chiming in with some kills as well. Nazari, the last one left. Adam with lovely 3 kills from back of the site.
Yeah, you can see it was a nice idea to execute on the side, but with the read was perfect. The util, all it did was push Muya off of mid instead of baiting a rotation into mid. Pushes him off to mid to the B site, and then even then, the util on the side, it's not enough to push them off the site.
And I think a key part of that was that Dobbo was playing really pushed up on A and just jiggle peeking the corner waiting for util. And if they had high main control, what's the point? Dink early, and in fact, Beve going down in mid again. Smoothie unable to get a trade, but Dobbo comes out and backs him up. Extinct as well. Index, the last one left, suddenly just flips from an opening kill to a 1 versus 3. Easy life for Extinct. 5-1 here. The Neighbours starting strong.
Yeah, it seems Binmen International, they're able to get these openings, but then the experience from the Neighbours, it just closes the rounds out. A lot of multi-kills as well. Binmen, they're struggling to close them out. They're struggling to make them uncomfortable, especially when going onto the sites, as I mentioned before. In that execute, the Extinct, looking behind the pillar, wasn't blind, wasn't mollied off. So hitting the freedom, taking the fights, and a missed molly.
But they're going for this boost again.
This time with the AWP. Hopefully they get an opening pick again. They're trying to abuse Bev here. This middle player often gets the fights early, but Bev, he's choosing to play it a little bit more passively. He's fallen back to camera to jiggle spot in a position where he can actually rotate to help Dobbo as well on A.
Yeah, and you can see Dobbo in that jiggle peek spot earlier. Gives him so much early information, and he's got the Molotov in hand as well, so as soon as he gets pressured, he can drop it straight down. Nazari, in the meantime, working his way in through mid with that big green.
Yeah, just taking the AWP on the contact. Zoom banger the one. In the meantime, that's a big fight going down. Extinct and Dweg, 2 heavy hitters from either side.
Yeah, in that position, you want to get a teammate to flash you in because you see that flash that Dweg throws. Extinct, he's got so much time to dodge it. Swing back in. Spotting Index in middle. And he's going to go for the look through Temple as well. Potential to catch some players off, but you can see Smoothie on the X-ray. Looks like he's ready for it, and yeah, he's holding the angle.
Yeah, the Neighbours with the man advantage, they're happy to let them have the mid control. They know that at the end of the day, they can't do much with it other than split the defense. It's not the end game. The sites are the end game, and that's what the Neighbours are doubling down on.
Flash from main. Allows Dobbo to have a bit of a spot. And Index continuing this lurk. He's coming through the back site of A.
Just look at the minimap. They've got 4 players surrounding this A site where Bev and Dobbo, they're kind of stuck. And
This
I think
could be
Index has
massive.
found the perfect spot.
He spots the shoulder of one, gets it. He didn't
Didn't
spot him.
Bev.
Beve's still alive,
But
it
he gets
doesn't
the
matter.
second anyway.
Smooth's able to trade back one. And in fact, this is a problem because Nasri can't get through camera, but he drops off the boost at the perfect time, allowing him to slip the net. All these players coming in here, and Nasri plugging away with the orb. Brings things into a 2 versus 3. Bombs hit the floor. Smooth and Adam left to retake against Index and Whiskey.
They've got plenty of Utah. They've got mollies to clear out all these corners. And just flashes here for Binmen International. See if they can get a bit proactive. Index is in a nice deep spot.
Whiskey's not aware, and it's going to cost him dearly. Index, the hero of this round, gets one. Tapping away at Smooth as well. He knows the location. Molotov's going to burn him. Swings out. Smooth misses a shot. Lands the second, though. Comes down to a 1 versus 1. That was a really nice round out of Binmen.
Yeah, no, look how much damage that's going to do to the economy as well. The Neighbours, they won the previous few rounds really cleanly, so at the end of the day, their bank is built up so much. So even though they got so many kills, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's the round win they needed from that.
Yeah. And thankfully, the bomb plant allows Binmen at least the money to rebuy. And a good amount of kills as well. I was going to say it starts to keep the economy for the Neighbours honest, but Smooth is on 12 grand. The other player's not doing so well, though. So if Binmen can pick up a couple of rounds in a row, they'll be able to break the Neighbours' economy. Dobbo again with his Jiggle Peak flash. Baits away the push before he even have to spots anyone. The spacing's so bad here from the Binmen, but still Index opening things up. Smooth quick on the trade, just holding the angles down. Dweg putting down suppressive fire. Smooth fights straight through and Beve comes in. Doesn't stop the bomb plant, but does kill the planter. 3v1 for Nasri and Smooth again.
Yeah, we could see that even though getting that opening pick for Binmen, they didn't have the protocols to actually deny the Neighbours from still fighting for that site. They went straight for the bomb plant, they got the bomb down, which is what you'd expect if they're on a pistol buy, but they're not. They've got these rifles, they didn't lock them out the site, and the Neighbours, they're just happy to flood into the site and take all these 1v1 fights. And they won them all, yeah, as you saw. 7-1 up for the Neighbours now.
Another full buy. Again, these bomb plants really doing so much for Binmen's economy. Orb still out on Smooth. Binmen unable to invest. They're spreading out for quite a passive default. Looks like they're waiting for a bit of aggression out of the Neighbours this time.
We've got Smooth actually with the orb over towards A, so it looks like, yeah, they've got a nice deep double bait set up here. This is really nice. So if anyone takes contact towards A, Smooth will get the first kill on the orb. And if he doesn't, Dobbo's able to turn around and spray him. Yeah, here comes the flash. Plays the closer medium corner.
Dweg's open.
Dweg. He's got an opening. He finally won that fight towards underpass. Extinct getting aggressive. I was mentioned before in the pregame, Extinct is such an aggressive player. It's very difficult for him to sit still, especially in a 5 versus 5 when he knows he's against weaker opposition.
Dweg tagged down low. But the Binmen need to make sure they try and keep this man advantage now. They need to pair up. They need to play the trades. Every kill that goes against them needs to have a return.
As we see, because of this disadvantage, they decide to rotate Smooth back into mid, and there we go. He gets that opening pick, leaving Dobbo jiggling on that spot we mentioned before. Really strong with the Utah to delay. But
there's trade. Trade again, and Dweg unable to connect. Beve gets 2.
That's such a ripe opportunity there they had to trade and get in that bomb site. But yeah, just a flat spray from Dweg, and now it just falls apart as Index takes a single fight against Smooth, taken down by the orb. Even Whiskey in a 1 versus 3.
Yeah, again. And Beve's got a good angle here. Easy as you like, holding the angle with the AK. Headshot, Whiskey goes down 8-1. Binmen struggling.
Yeah, Binmen struggling to close out any of the rounds here. It looks like they're able to get a couple opening picks, but yeah, the Neighbours, they're just relying on their firepower. Even when they got the disadvantage, they're playing it so safe. They're playing the percentages, which is honestly quite disciplined from what compared to what I'd expect coming in from the Neighbours.
Mixed in down here in connector. Nasri with a nice opening on the Deagle. Index sitting in the smoke. He's getting a bit antsy. Looks to catch the reload, but he's too late. I like what he's doing. Extinct's spamming the smoke. Index is waiting for that reload to come through and capitalize, catch him off guard. Fortunately, the timing doesn't work out. But they've still got this man advantage. They've got lackluster weaponry. Dweg has got the Galil. Adam again, just so aggressive.
There's a Galil. It goes down. Extinct, again, getting aggressive, taking these fights. takes down Dweg, and that leaves the rest of these pistols to group up, and it looks like they're going to force their way towards A, but with this push from Adam, means the stack for the Neighbours is on A. So there's Binmen International here, they're just getting close in.
Leg spotted.
Ooh.
But a headshot found. Man disadvantage retained. Smooya going to clean up easy as you like, and the flank coming in from Adam as well. There's no util to help them get onto the bomb site, so it's just easy pickings for Smooya. And then with Adam coming in from behind, just constricting them into a main. We've got a pause.
Technical pause by the looks of things, so hopefully we'll get that resolved as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's comes with the territory. Got everyone transporting their PC in.
Yeah, it does with BYC lands. It would be a miss without any technical pauses, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
In the meantime, with the money though, we do have a buy-up coming on from both teams. A little bit of util sacrificed for Binmen International. Dweg with only 2 pieces, and Nazari, the AWPer, only has a single smoke.
And so, going to kick off round 11.
Yeah, shout out to Overclockers though, by the way, guys. If you have any technical issues, go to Overclockers. I'm pretty sure they'll solve most of them. Especially if you buy PCs from them. I know they have a really good policy. If you buy a PC from Overclockers, they'll often fix it for free.
Dweg has gone down in the meantime, and Adam, again, continued to be so aggressive. The one thing with such a mismatch of experience gives them so much confidence in going aggressive, because not only do they have the game knowledge to be able to find the gaps in the defense, but they have the strength that even if they've misread it, they can handle it. Dobbo, almost caught off, had to drop a smoke and back away.
Yeah, but this is the strength of the setup that Dobbo's going for. Because he's jiggling, he gets that early information, he can then drop his utility reactively to delay. So rather than using it proactively to gain map control or to deny anything early, he's saving it, which means he can use it at the crucial time to maximise the efficiency of that utility that he's got. And it's really effective, as we see. It delays enough time for a rotate to come into it. And the Binmen, right now in the 3-4 grouping up towards B, and Whiskey gets that kill instinct again, overextending, not playing with his teammate. Now Bear's fully blind, goes down, and it leaves Smooya to get the pick. Almost goes down, falling off the site.
2 versus 2.
Yeah, they've got the bomb plant. This is the best opportunity they're going to get around.
Dobbo creeping in through Temple. Nazari blinded. Nice from Smooya. But Whiskey with the headshot. Smooya in a 1 versus 2 here. Binmen, one of the best chances they've got. Smooya just 2 rounds left as well. He's got to hit everything. Working his way in. Figure out where Nazari is. Misses a shot. Switches to the 5-7. Headshot comes through. Switches back to the AWP. And he's just scoped in. Still trying to find this last player. Whiskey has a smoke and a HE. Not particularly useful at this scenario, but the time's ticking so low. All he has to do is keep Smooya active and delay time, and that's what he's doing. Smooya's missed a shot as well. Binmen, they're up on 2.
This is impressive for Binmen. Yeah, the site just crumbles there. Bev and Extinct didn't play together at all. They played separate 1v1s, and they paid the price for it. Binmen International, they do have some players who actually have aim. I know it's just surprising to hear, but they can shoot back if given the opportunity. And in the meantime, Smooya, he's clearly not warmed up for this event today. He's missing some of these really close shots, which you'd 100% expect Smooya to be hitting.
Yeah, perhaps underestimating the enemy a little bit.
Or maybe it's a bit too early in the morning for him, who knows?
Yeah.
Saving his energy for the rest of LAN. Which, to be honest, I don't blame him. They are 9-2 up.
Yeah, I can understand that. Dobbo. Here on the A bomb site, he's getting a bit aggressive as well. He's got a teammate with him. Beve flashes. Whiskey blinded. Swings out to try and get the kill. Dobbo's on top of it. So, 4 versus 5. Man advantage for the Neighbours. This shot from Nazari. Capitalised on by Dweg. Smooya able to trade things back. 2 players on the other side here. Bit of an aggressive swing. He's looking for the trade. 2 players on the other side. Smooya with a big 1-click green AWP.
Yeah, that's a really good lean coming in from the Neighbours. They got the opening pick towards A, and they know that that's going to scare Binmen International from going towards there. So Dobbo's, he's able to cheat over towards mid and assist in just shutting down any mid presence from Binmen. So yeah, that leaves us in a 4 versus 2. Index and Pedge grouping up towards B, the only other place And look at this information. The Neighbours reading it so well. They know that the Binmen International aren't playing with rotation. Everywhere they lose a fight, they're scared. They'll go and they'll go and just shut down as well. Smooth with the wallbang orb and Adam Kobeing over the top.
Yeah, HE to finish it off. And the money, much as their name suggests, in the bin.
Yeah.
Nazari could afford to buy a rifle if he wanted to, but they're taking the smart choice, doing a bit of a half buy. Their loss bonus, I believe, is at max, so they're able to buy a little bit below 2k. T-side economy, much more lenient. Bebe. Into the meat grinder they go. Bebe on 4. Index. Left to get the final kill. And Bebe going straight through. There it is, an ace. The Neighbours.
Yeah, that's going to be nice for Bev, especially after the start of this game. He was losing a couple of opening picks. He's going to want some confidence coming to this. That 5k, that ace. Yeah, it's really nice for him.
Got a quick technical pause. Seems to follow the last one of the players fixing their computers. Of course here, EPIC39 on LAN, and with our networking solutions provided by Dratech for this event. I've been going around the hall. They've got these beautiful switches up on the tables.
It looks really impressive, to be honest, compared to some of the previous EPIC39s. The switches as well, they seem to be all along the floor, and then the cables are everywhere, and you have to mess around with it, try and get them in, and the cable management. But the cable management, that's what I'm impressed about. With the switches, the switch boxes on monitor arm stands.
Yeah.
Just elevated above. It looks so cool and professional. I like it.
Binmen, after that Tech 9 buy, got full buy this round. Nazari, a bit more money, able to invest in the AWP, not a lot of util. And Beve, confidence back, sitting behind the smoke in mid now. Just waiting for the push. Extinct, looks like he's about to get flashed in. He might just go for the peak.
Oh, no.
Oh, there it is, Smooth, you're working in the AWP.
Yeah, I couldn't see him underneath his icon on the map there. Yeah, big opening pick, and Extinct push up to capitalise on the opening, and that's the bomb.
Oh,
but
nice trades.
Yeah, Index working towards mid takes down Bev. Again, that 1v1 fight there. Bev seems to be losing quite often.
3 versus 3. The Neighbours quite split up, and we have a pack of Whiskey and Nazari working together outside of B.
Looks like they're grouping up towards mid now, so they can team up with Index. But Dobbo, he's in a difficult situation. He has to pivot, but he spots out Index, so that's information he knows is there. He has to only worry about mid. Smokes him off of camera. This is huge. Cuts them off the A bomb site, which is where they wanted to go. And the Binmen, they've smoked themselves off of going towards the back of B.
But that stops Adam and Smiyu rotating at least in through middle. But it telegraphs so much where they want to go. They know.
Oh, that step there from Whiskey's going to make a lot of noise and information. And now they've
got 2 players here.
Yeah, they're collapsing.
Smiyu gets first. Index able to get one. For a trade. And in fact, Smiyu with a missed shot. Index has opened up this bomb site. 2 versus 1. The Binmen yet again. Adam left to try and clutch this one out for the Neighbours. And he's only got a flash to do it with. Not a lot to util on Binmen, but it's Index again.
Index again, the 4K. Just saying, I've got Index in my fantasy.
Well, it's perfect for you.
Perfect for me. I do have Smoo and Dweg as well.
And I've got to say, I've been actually really, really impressed with the way the Binmen are playing some of the early and mid-round. It seems like most of the rounds, unless it's just a blowout and somebody goes massive and gets a load of kills, it's actually just been the late-round clutches. They've been taking some of these rounds a lot closer than I'd have perhaps expected just looking at the rosters on paper.
It seems like they're playing quite coordinated together, which is what you like to see, especially from this lesser experienced team.
Oh, Index's molly countered.
Yeah, here we go. We see it again. The Binmen going for this default across the map, working a little bit of mid control with Dweg, working that. Actually, no, it's Index now, getting that pick towards Extinct.
Another man advantage. Adam with the AWP this time. They've got a double AWP setup and he's swinging straight in. He spotted the shoulder as well. Index is going to have such a difficult job here. But the flash is perfect. Forces him off, and in the meantime,
Pedge capitalizes.
Yeah, it's perfect. Adam misses the shot as well. Nazari straight on it with the AWP. 2 versus 4. Make it 2 versus 3. Dobbo's able to get one.
The grouping up as well. This is sublime.
But look at Bebe's position. Dobbo's able to get one. Swings out. They're not ready for it. Whiskey's gone down as well. Nazari, last one. It's all falling apart.
That was so well played from Bev and Dobbo. Bev tucking in that corner so he's not spotted. It looked so promising for Binmen as well. They grouped up together. Yeah, 12-3 half. This is looking good for the Neighbours.
Pistol round. And it's going to be a brawl. No kits for Binmen. And no utility for the Neighbours. And they're just going, they're sending it into B.
Yeah, it's 10 pieces of Kevlar. This is just going to be a brawl. We're going for the fights.
First fight's lost. It's going to be difficult for the Binmen now, especially in 2 versus 5. But also with no defuse kit, it means
any retake it is going to be so difficult for them.
Yeah,
even if they get to the bomb, which Whiskey can't. It's all on Nazarene now. On the 1 versus 5, the Neighbours, he gets spotted out. The Neighbours, they're just charging at him. Managed to take down Smooth with a shot, but yeah, just overwhelmed Bev getting that closing kill.
And that's unfortunate for the Binmen because, you know, I mentioned there's signs of life, there's positives, but losing the second pistol round when the scoreline is this disparate, it's going to make things really difficult for them. They have managed to, an interesting investment actually. They're obviously anticipating the Neighbours have gone for AKs, which they have. So they've gone for no head armor MP9s, no head armor upgraded pistols. So they managed to pull out 3 MP9s here. Whiskey with the first. He's going to be under a lot of pressure here. Gets the first, and he's able to hide as well. Traded quickly by Dobbo on that Mac 10.
Beg unable to do anything with his 5.7 at such a long range as well. He's just going to get overwhelmed here with Bev. But Bev overextends a bit. Does go down to Index. It's now 3 versus 2. I make it a 1 versus 3. And with that, Molly coming in. Index position, revealing his position.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to get much done here, and the Neighbours looking to have it. There it is. The unfortunate thing for, I don't mean to criticise a master of the game such as Dweg, but the 5.7, a weapon that the first few shots very accurate, very high damage, but as soon as you start spamming, a lot of inaccuracy comes in. If you
especially when running. It's standing accuracy is good, but running the accuracy is abysmal.
Because he was at such a range, if he was tapping a little bit slower, he might have been able to land a few of those headshots. Could have been seeing a different round.
Yeah.
We've got a Zeus. We've got a Zeus.
As mentioned before, Dweg, fan favourite of the Zeus. It looks like they're just grouping up again, just rolling onto the side to get these trades, especially since they know they got stronger util wanting out these positions.
Oh, no.
Almost a Zeus. Doesn't come in. Next to Pedge, again, alone in the 2 versus 5.
Yeah.
The Neighbours looking to close this out swiftly.
Nice shot. But immediately traded. I've got to say, as we do share similar username, Index, he's been doing well. It's 15 and 17.
Yeah, that's a strong performance against the Neighbours, which is promising going into the rest of the tournament. Index is going to be a player which a lot of other teams, some of these lesser teams, they themselves are fighting for a playoff spot. Index is going to be a big thorn in their side, especially if he keeps up this performance.
Nazarene flashed off mid with the AWP. Looks like a little boost going on. Smooyer indicating to Adam exactly where he wants him to stand. And oh. Come on, guys. There we go.
Adam trolled Smooyer a bit, just standing up every single time he wanted to jump.
And now a Molotov. Smoke gives away their location as well. Gives Dweg an opportunity to spam. He's having a bit of a rough one. He's 2 and 17. Pedge. He's the first to open. They're able to lurk their way out. But Pedge able to trade again. That connector was left open. But the hole swiftly plugged. Double with the Mac 10 now lurking. Good flash. Set him up nicely. Swaps to the AK. Gives away his location. Flash for Smee to come through. Pedge. Yeah, another kill on the AUG. Finally traded by Extinct. But that allows Index to come in. Smee left in a 1 versus 3.
This time he's got the rifle though. We saw he wasn't very clean with the AWP, but this rifle he stands a good chance, especially knowing exactly where 2 of the players are. And a lot of information.
He's trying to isolate these 1v1s here. He taps away. Swings, gets another kill. But Whiskey's in with the trade. Binmen up on 4. They're not ever yet, Tim.
Not yet, it seems. But they've got a long way to go.
They certainly have. Yeah. 11 rounds.
As Dua Lipa once said, 1 kiss is all it takes. 1 kiss from a Deagle, from one of these AKs, from an AWP from Smooya is all it will take to snowball. And Binmen will be out of this map.
The utility, not too great for Binmen. The Neighbours have quite a lot. Pedge here in connector is going to be under a lot of pressure. Extinct sends a volley and forces him out of position. He's still able to go a kill and go 1 for 1. Dobbo able to trade. That's not the worst outcome.
Yeah, especially as the terrorists. One thing which I often preach, which a lot of players seem to disagree with, I'll be honest, is a 4 versus 4. If the teams are even in numbers, it favours the Ts, except in a 5 versus 5. So a 4 versus 4, 1 point trade goes in the Ts, and it doesn't matter. Look at them. They're not even on the site yet, and the defense crumbles. They're holding from outside A main, inside dark, and the fights, it just crumbles.
Write him off just yet. Never mind.
Yeah, no, we've got to write him off now. It's 16-4.
I wanted to...
Yeah, you want to build some high, but let's be real.
I wanted to believe, okay? So yeah, the Neighbours taking it 16-4, and you know what? I actually think that was a really respectable performance. I like some of the ideas.
Definitely.
I like what they were going for.
Yeah, no, it was actually really nice to see what Binmen were going for there. They grouped up really well on their T side. They spread out for those defaults, worked those opening picks, and once they got them, they grouped up, played together, maximised the trade potential. So you can see the fundamentals are there, and that's what, honestly, a lot of teams which we've casted in who are main level miss.
Yeah.
They don't have those fundamentals, but the Binmen, they do. They don't have that much firepower. They're relying on Index specifically, and a little bit of coming in from Nazari as well, are the only people who seem to be put up any fight against high caliber players in the likes of the Neighbours. But the rest of the players is not enough to take them, well, past 4 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. The team talk from Dweg clearly had some impact, but unfortunately against a team such as the Neighbours, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
And so we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with more EPIC39, sponsored by Intel, action with Verdant versus Team 7 PM.
Hello, Overclockers. Welcome. Screw this. Where's EPIC when you need him?